Hulk Hogan, a name that defined an entire generation of wrestling fans. A name that built an empire of merchandise, catchphrases, and unforgettable moments in the ring. But behind the muscle, behind the red and yellow spectacle of Hulkamania, there was always the man, Terry Bollea, and a family who lived in his shadow. And now, after his passing at the age of 71, the Hogan family is once again in the headlines, but this time, not for championship belts, not for blockbuster reality TV, but for something far more personal, far more painful, and, for many fans, far more shocking. Hulk Hogan's final will was revealed, and it confirmed what many suspected but few could believe. Brooke Hogan, his daughter, has been left with nothing. Not a dollar. Not a percentage. Not even a mention. His millions will go entirely to his son, Nick Hogan. Yet the real twist in this story is not the exclusion itself. It's Brooke's reaction. Because rather than expressing anger, shock, or betrayal, Brooke Hogan is standing firm, declaring that this was no surprise and that she wanted it this way. For her, being left out of her father's will isn't a wound. It's a choice that reflects years of independence, years of distance, and years of learning to stand on her own. To truly understand the weight of this moment, we need to go back, to trace the arc of Hulk Hogan's family life, the public and private battles, and the complicated relationship between father and daughter. Hulk Hogan wasn't just a wrestler. He was the wrestler. In the 1980s and 1990s, his larger-than-life persona made him a global superstar. He was the face of World Wrestling Federation's golden era, a crossover star who appeared in movies, television shows, and commercials. Kids wore the shirts, ripped them apart in imitation, and shouted his catchphrases. Parents admired him, promoters cashed in, and Vince McMahon built a billion-dollar empire on his back. But as his fame grew, so did the fractures in his personal life. Hulk married Linda Hogan in 1983, and together they had 2 children, Brooke and Nick. On the outside, they were the picture of an all-American family. On the inside, however, cracks were forming. By the mid-2000s, the family decided to lean into the fame and open their lives up to the cameras with the VH1 reality series, Hogan Knows Best. For fans, it was a peek inside the home of the wrestling legend. But for the family, it became a microscope, amplifying tensions, misunderstandings, and conflicts that had been simmering for years. Brooke Hogan, then in her late teens, quickly became a breakout figure on the show. She had dreams of being a singer, of creating her own stardom outside of wrestling. She even landed her own spin-off series, Brooke Knows Best. But behind the smiles and the music videos was a young woman trying to figure out who she was, while the world was constantly defining her as Hulk Hogan's daughter. And then came the scandals. The divorce between Hulk and Linda became a tabloid spectacle. Nick Hogan's car accident in 2007 led to serious legal trouble and left a passenger with life-altering injuries. The Hogan family brand, once so polished, began to unravel in public. Brooke, caught in the middle, found herself searching for stability. By the time she turned 18, Brooke made a pivotal decision. She would stop depending on her father financially. She wanted to prove she could make it on her own. And over the years, she did just that. From music to reality TV to building an interior design business, Brooke carved out a path that didn't rely on her father's fortune. More recently, she found personal happiness, marrying Stephen Alexi, a former professional hockey player, in 2022 and becoming a mother to twins in early 2025. But even as she built her life, her relationship with Hulk Hogan grew more distant. And this distance wasn't defined by shouting matches or explosive fights. It was subtler, more emotional. Brooke has said that their bond frayed through a series of private phone calls, conversations no one else heard, but ones that left her drained. She described her father as being surrounded by a kind of force field, a barrier she couldn't break through. She begged him to take care of his health, urged him to slow down, and tried to be there for him, but she often felt shut out. As her own responsibilities grew, especially during her high-risk pregnancy, she realized she couldn't keep pouring herself into a relationship that gave so little back. She stepped away, quietly, without fanfare, without bitterness. And so, When Hulk Hogan's will was revealed, when she saw her name absent from the document, she wasn't surprised. To her, it was simply a reflection of the truth. She had been surviving without her father's money for nearly 2 decades, and she intended to keep doing so. The estate itself is no small matter. Hulk Hogan's fortune, estimated at over $5 million, is divided into several categories: personal property, intellectual property, cryptocurrency, and, most significantly, rights tied to his name and image. Even in death, Hulk Hogan remains a marketable figure. His likeness, his voice, his brand, all of it holds immense value. Whoever controls that inheritance doesn't just get money, they get the keys to Hulkamania's future. And all of that now belongs to Nick Hogan. This decision has, of course, sparked a firestorm among fans. Many are baffled. Why would Hulk exclude Brooke, the daughter who has consistently demonstrated resilience, independence, and stability, in favor of Nick, whose past is marred with controversy? Others argue that the choice wasn't about favoritism. It was about practicality, or even about promises made behind closed doors. Whatever the reason, the choice is final. Brooke's response has only deepened the conversation. She has insisted she has no regrets. She has emphasized her independence. She has declared that she never wanted her father's money, that she has always stood on her own, and that she intends to keep doing so. And in that declaration, she has transformed what could have been a scandal into a statement of strength. Yet fans can't help but read between the lines. Was Brooke's acceptance truly peaceful, or was it born of years of disappointment? Was being excluded from the will a relief, or did it close the door on a relationship she once fought desperately to save? These are questions only she can answer, and for now, she seems content to let her public statement stand. But the public reaction has been telling. Many admire Brooke's grace, praising her for not chasing money or stirring up drama. Others are skeptical, suggesting that anyone in her position would feel some degree of betrayal. Online forums, social media feeds, and gossip outlets are buzzing with theories, debates, and hot takes. In a sense, the Hogan family saga, which has unfolded publicly for decades, has found one more chapter, this time centered not on Hulk, but on Brooke. What makes this story so gripping is the contrast. Hulk Hogan, the wrestler who told millions of kids to fight for their dreams, struggled to build a bond with his own daughter. Brooke Hogan, who once lived under the bright lights of her father's fame, is now walking away from his fortune with her head held high. It's a story about money, yes, but more than that, it's a story about independence, identity, and the complicated ties of family. And so we are left with this picture: Hulk Hogan's empire, handed to Nick. Brooke Hogan, standing apart, proud of her independence. A family divided not by headlines, but by choices made quietly over years. And a daughter who has decided that her worth is not measured in dollars, but in dignity. The world will keep talking, fans will keep speculating, but Brooke Hogan has already spoken her truth. She's moving forward, raising her children, building her life, and letting the world know that she doesn't need her father's money to prove who she is. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.